we're going to continue on with this gun sight. So you can see that black strip that was on the top. That's what we're going to be making. So I just made a very simple cube, got rid of the middle section, kind of got it scaled roughly in the right spot. And I do have some reference off to the side that I can kind of see whenever I'm taking a look at this. So I'm going to get this like squared up with the very bottom of this, and then move this to the end. Now the front and the back are kind of tapered, but I leave that to the end because I'm going to do a lot of this using a multi-cut tool to get some of these pieces in here. And I also noticed that there's like these 4 kind of notches that are kind of cut out or raised. So I tried to get a piece of geometry that represented roughly the right size of this, so then that way I can duplicate that piece of geometry, make new geometry on that strip, and then snap everything together. First I try to eyeball that, then I just move the pivot point of that, and then I can just snap that to the end of that and duplicate it and get rid of the pieces that I don't need anymore. And what I saw was the shapes were just too small, so I had to scale that out just a little bit. So I just redid everything, kind of freeze transformations, duplicate when I duplicate one, move it, and they can hit Shift D, and that's going to duplicate that object with the transforms. And so here I just use the multi-cut tool, going to select all the edges and then just snap it up. So let's hold down V and you can move that manipulator and it'll snap to the edges on there. Now I can get rid of those pieces, don't need them anymore. And now I need to add some multi-cuts right along here. I changed the snap settings to where it's 5% so it get really close to the edge. If you hold down Shift, you can when you hold down Control, you can hold down Shift and you can snap really close to the edge on there. So let's go ahead and select the faces on there, and I need to pull those down a little bit. So I still needed a little more geo and accidentally kind of messed up there, so I had to get rid of the edge. I didn't really notice it until I pulled all the faces down. So I needed one more support edge at the very end right down here. Now I can select those faces, just pull them down to kind of get that shape that I was going for. And after that, I need to start working on holding up the edges. This is what I was talking about, the front and the back. That needed a little bit of a taper, so it was really easy to select those edges and just kind of move them forward or back. And now I think I'll eventually isolate, select, and kind of just view this. Before I do that though, I need to taper the whole object, so I just used a lattice deformer. Had to turn symmetry off for this, and then just scale that in a little bit to get that taper for all the object. So this is the base shape. Now it's time to add the support edges for this. And I was trying to do a mirror and mirror option, but I did it the wrong axis. Had to change that over to X. And then now that I got a mirrored object, I can start just adding the support edges, and everything should go okay for this. So just checking the results as I go along. I did a little test on there to see if I could select all the edge loops for these parts and then just do a bevel. And now that I knew that that worked, I just did a bevel for all of them and then kind of changed the tolerance of that. And then started to add a little bit more geometry to kind of even up all the topology on this. And you can see this is pretty close to the final results, and I'm just checking it against the reference and maybe just doing a slight bit of scaling to try to get a little bit of a bevel on the very bottom of this. It's already there, but I just need it to kind of show up, and I had to just scale the object, reset the transforms, and just named it and put it in the group there, and everything should be done for that shape now.